Hey guys, we're here in a 74 Bronco and we're going to try to install Holley Sniper EFI in the parking lot in an hour. So I'm in the back seat of Doug Glad Bronco because I got outvoted. Here's our sniper system that's actually going to go in the car. Right now we've got a Holley double pumper carburetor and it's running great, but we're going to see if a self-learning EFI can deal with the big cam and this Ford Windsor.
The engine's actually a Ford Racing 460-inch 9.5 deck Windsor. So it's a boss block with a big crank, big bore, big cam. It's going to be a real challenge for self-learning EFI. So camshaft's 308 advertised and 254 at 50. Here we go.
All right, 1 hour. Then we do it. Where do you want this? On your fiberglass?
In the hole.
In the hole. That's gonna hurt later.
All right.
Synthetic array. All right, so the car runs completely. Now it's time to just take the carburetor off and go to town.
Put the pins in here. So we can't leave without the pins.
They're on the magnetic tray.
Tech tip for people with hood pins. If you put them in here, you never drive away without your hood pins. Ask me how I know. Alright, so here we got in the box, we got the throttle body. It's like a touch screen. Right here. Stylus.
I'm gonna live in your engine bay for a while.
Okay.
That's why I love trucks.
This is 02. And then there's a bunch of wiring. And connectors.
Doug, you want to hand me a 5/8 so I can get 2 lines off?
Stick the fuel line off the back. Pull the whole thing up. Is that right size?
Nope, too small. 16. Nailed it.
Okay. The Holley system needs a minimum of return system, and it needs an O2. So on this vehicle, there's already an O2 bung installed, and we already put a 255 Walbro on the frame, and it's got a return system because when we put the Boss in, we didn't want to use a mechanical fuel pump for obvious reasons. So we already ran a return. It's got an aftermarket fuel tank in it from Tom's Bronco parts. But right now it's at 7 to 9 pounds using whatever was on the vehicle when we bought it. I think it's an old Barry Grant carbureted regulator.
So how many connections does the Holley system have to go on?
So it looks like there's 4 connections. So it's kind of like hooking up a tack. There's a 12-volt battery. There's battery ground, switched ignition, and a coil wire. That's it. And then the fuel pump relay, I guess, is built into the harness. And so you just run a wire directly. So I'm going to go underneath the vehicle now and put the O2 in. For those of you that don't have an O2, Holley includes this really cool kit. The gasket. Basically, you drill a hole in your exhaust Put the hose clamps on it like this. These are actually T clamps from like a turbo system. And you thread this in. So there you go. If you don't have one already welded in, that's what you can do. And it's just a drill bit. And they came in the kit.
Okay, choke wire.
Yeah, you got the MiFi?
My only task for this day is to make sure that I don't drop down anything down the intake of my boss's carburetor. So
I don't drop anything down the intake. So usually when you take the intake, the carburetor off, do that. It is hot.
and the stud is sharp, so don't touch that.
I'm going to glove up now.
Let's.
All right, you ready for the box?
I'm ready for the throttle body. That was quick.
All right, so here's the throttle body. It looks like it has some wiring harnesses already attached. So before you do that, it looks like this is for PCV.
Okay. Do you have a fitting?
Yeah, so we need to put a fitting in the front for the PCV because it's got a, there's a fitting right here. So
You can make me get out.
hang on, I'll just switch it out real quick.
Hot. Carburetor nuts.
Okay, this is just thread paste. A little thread paste on it. And then this is a manifold vacuum source we're going to use for the crankcase ventilation system.
Are you reusing the studs for the carburetor for the linkage? Or do you have new ones?
No, those are really nice studs. We could probably just use them. There's a set of studs in here as well, but those are the this is the ARP stud kit. It's pretty nice.
Take these off.
Okay, so the one on the back is for brakes, and then this is also a ported source, or sorry, manifold source for vacuum advance. You don't have to pull those off because I think it comes with,
Okay, so you want to use the new ones.
yeah,
Okay.
whoa, comes with a whole set of
Carb studs don't
Yeah.
change, right?
no.
Okay.
It has carb studs in it, but here's the linkage. So these are the two linkage pieces. That one goes, you can just compare them.
Yeah, we're good.
Here's the washers.
So, cool.
Here's the big one.
This is not the right washer.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go swap up the O2.
Is that cool or is that in the way?
Okay. O2 bung plug that was already in there. Alright, I don't know if you can see this. Can we see this, Wilcox? So right here is the description of where to put your O2 if you don't already have one. So minimum of 10 degrees. Ours is nearly vertical, so ours is about right here. The two biggest things are you don't want it underneath because it'll collect moisture, and of course you don't want to burn the wire off because it's expensive.
Ready?
Yeah.
Cool. EFI throttle body going on.
Get the towel out of there?
Yes, it did. So your engine doesn't run on shop towels. Does it?
For a second.
Cool. Do you have all 4 of those?
The other two right here. Always count your
Don't say the word.
carb nuts. All right, another cool thing that we discovered is Holley's got it's a new fuel line called Vapor Guard. It's 3/8 inch. It's high pressure. The reason they call it Vapor Guard is because pump gas won't eat it. So a lot of you, if you have a garage that's attached to your house, your garage and then therefore your house will smell like fuel because when fuel line gets to this age, the rubber kind of corrodes inside and the whole thing will weep and fuel will come out. And fuel's a little bit of fuel makes a lot of smell.
Throttle body's on.
Throttle body's on? Okay. If you need extra PCV.
I got slack. We're good.
Really?
Yeah. Do what?
Leave it how it is?
Good. Booster hose in the back.
Little hose clamp. You have a small socket?
Yeah. Which one you need?
The one for the hose clamp. Seen any questions?
Yeah, guys, shout out questions if you have anything.
Some of the things I know off the top of my head. This system runs on 58 psi. This system comes with timing control right here, which we're not going to install now because you're supposed to install just the EFI, get it running, and then try the timing control later. This system has an additional harness. The additional harness is for like AC kick-up and fans, things like that, accessories that you want to run. You can control that, all of that through the touch screen.
Hey Doug, I do need
what else?
I do need some more hose for the brake booster. It's a little short.
Alright, so if we're talking about tools, this thing is the coolest cutter ever for hose.
Cigars, fingers, hose.
Super sharp. Don't cut it too short. Alright, so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to attach this to the feed side of the throttle body, and then I'm going to run it down to the fuel pump.
Thank you. Actually, one of those is the one I wanted.
Long one or short one?
Long one. Thank you. car can hear it. These need to go. Alright, you have brakes again.
Okay, brakes.
Maybe.
Go ahead and put that on the feed side.
Feed side. Underneath the baby socket wrench back. When you're done with it,
Which one? 5/8, 11/16?
no, the actual wrench, quarter drive.
Oh, the ratchet.
Thank you.
Let's tighten that on for you.
You need an 11/16.
Alright, here's a trick I learned from owning hundreds of filthy, greasy cars. So I'm going to have to push this down over the frame. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cap it off with some tape. So when I'm pushing it down through, I'm not packing it with grease and dirt, because that's a real threat on this thing, because it's mostly grease and dirt with some rust.
One thing we'll need to do is your kickdown's now wrong because the distance on this linkage is different. Unless we need to move it forward. I think we need to move forward.
Oh, is that tension? We can always set that. All you do is loosen this and just set it like the torsion. Okay, so you can reset.
Okay, we can do that.
Would you have 11/16?
Put it back on the truck. Everything is so hot. Is this why people don't do this?
Yeah. That's why I brought gloves.
You still was. Even though I'm the one complaining.
I know. I haven't complained yet. Oh wait, I'm wearing gloves.
What's that thing about fuel vapors you were talking about?
So funny.
Do you have needle nose by chance?
Sure.
That'll help with the spring. Thank you. Spring is on. Same with the throttle. We're gonna have to tighten it just a little bit.
Not a surprise, really.
Yeah. So the throttle and the kickdown for the transmission will have to go back about an inch to match up with the linkage on this, but that's easy. Need my help?
Yeah, just kind of pull on that a little bit. Take out some of the slack. Okay. And then plug it in. That's the return side.
Okay. So we've got pressure and return. You don't already have an electric pump and you got a mechanical pump, this is going to be a little bit more involved, but most guys with high horsepower engines already have electric pumps, so it's not a big change. You'll just need to change the PSI that the engine runs at. You got a carb that's probably between 7 and 9. Fuel injection, Doug mentioned we need 50. But this is internally regulated, so as long as you have a return line, you don't have to mess with it at all. 11/16. Okay, so pressure and return are regulated. We've got a whole bunch of wires. Let's see, this one. Does this need a coolant feed?
The coolant goes in the manifold.
Okay, I can work on that.
Yeah, there's a fitting in there, and it's just the front.
The
line.
brass right at the front by the
Yeah.
distributor. Why's your distributor in the front? It's weird.
Tip for you guys. Changing the fuel line, so I'm going to put these right on the tank because the fuel pump is below the tank. If I just take the line off, it'll siphon the entire tank onto the ground and onto me.
No, really.
And this solves that problem.
How many football fields would you like your distributor advance hose to be?
One.
One football field. All right. Do you need the T on it? I can eliminate that if you want.
No, the T's for the vacuum gauge.
Okay. Oh, that makes sense.
I just want to see what
Easy
the vacuum
hookup
is.
point.
So this guy had 9 inches of vacuum at idle before we changed it, and my prediction is the vacuum is going to come up because it's going to run a little smoother.
And you want full vacuum, right? Not ported?
I want a manifold source.
Okay.
I'm assuming you're talking about the distributor.
More of a personal question. Cool. Fuel in, fuel out, PCV, brake booster, timing, return spring is hooked up, throttle will need some adjustment because that wraps all the way around the ball right now. Medium,
What needs adjustment?
throttle and kickdown. Just a different bracket, so I'll have to pull the throttle a little bit because that's pretty much maxed out. See what I mean?
Okay, you can't undo that and shorten it?
Undo what?
There's
Yeah, just undo the
an
cable.
Allen. Let's see what it does first
Okay.
before we start cutting it, playing with it.
If we have to, we can just loosen the Allen, chop the cable, and pull this back a little bit.
That's how it's designed, so
Yeah, that's easy.
I've got the tools for that.
Cool. Just gonna separate these wires right now.
All right, out with the old fuel pressure regulator because you won't need it. And out with
This is gonna hurt me. You're pinched. There you go.
out with the old leaky, stinky fuel line.
This is the new one.
Yep.
Okay. Feeding it down.
Hold on. Headers are hot. Make a note of that.
Don't smile. I can see the rust raining down on you.
I told you. That's why I taped the end of the fuel line. So it comes out of this rust free.
Okay. So we're gonna drape these here. Send them back down. One connector. Let's see. Another connector. And here's your choke wire. You wanted to use that to give a 12-volt ignition source, right?
Yeah, so
Okay. There aren't a whole lot of electrical connections on this thing. You basically need to tell it that the car's on, that it should start doing its job and injecting fuel, and the rest is just hooking up a couple sensors so that it can read what the engine's doing and react appropriately. So we'll hang this wire out of the way. I can start on the coolant line. I haven't hit my head yet. It's gonna change. All right, what do I need for this? That looks like a 5/8.
wait on the wiring because I don't know if that wire has cranking voltage or not.
Yeah, no problem.
It should, but I don't know.
I'm gonna start with the coolant sensor while you're under there.
No questions?
Not yet, guys. If you have questions, shout them out. That's what we're here for.
How many people are watching?
About 720 people watching right now.
How are we doing on the length of the feed line?
You've got a lot of extra if you need it. I draped it over the booster and ran it right down behind the steering column.
Okay, if it's in a safe place, I'm going to cut it there.
Yeah, as long as it's not rubbing on the headers at your end, it's in a nice place.
Okay.
We could zip tie it together, it'd be pretty. Quarter and 5/8. Hey Doug, will the sensor for the Holley replace your current fuel temperature sensor, or did you have an auxiliary location for it?
I have two. If you look to the left, there's my gauge. If you look to the right, there's a plug.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So you want to leave the gauge on and then use the
Leave
plug
the gauge on and use the plug.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't see that one.
Yeah, that's the air rock for you, giving you enough volumes to do these things.
And then Tommy wants to know if you can use an MSD Mod 6 to control the timing.
Well, the Holley works one of two ways. You can have it do fuel only, or you can actually have it control timing. So if you've got something in place that already controls timing and you're happy with it and you don't want to change it, you can totally leave the MSD in place and have the Holley just operate on a fuel side. But the Holley is also completely capable of running the timing on the engine. So really you can do it either way.
Tommy asked a follow-up question. What signal wire would you have to use to have the Mod 6 and the Holley talk to each other?
I don't know, Doug, can they talk to each other? I don't know that they
To have which?
To have an MSD unit talk to the Holley to run timing.
Yeah, there's a wiring harness in here to run either a magnetic pickup like we have, or a Hall Effects dual sync like Holley sells, or aftermarket 6AL box. So it's just a matter of configuring the wiring.
Yeah, everything's labeled clearly in the wiring harness, but if you want them to talk to each other, I don't know why you wouldn't just run the Holley and run the timing. Because it's perfectly capable of doing that, and it's perfectly capable of doing it through an MSD box. Because I assume if you want them to talk to each other, what you're going for is you just want to have a progressive map in the timing where you can influence it based on probably one user input, i.e. like taking out one computer at a time and tuning everything, as opposed to having to tune the MSD separately and tuning the Holley. I would probably just go for one system that does everything. Did you put the, do you have the vice grips down there, Doug?
Yeah, but they're on the fuel line.
Okay, I'll find another means.
Actually, you can have the one on the return line. I don't need it now.
Okay. Cool deal.
What do you need vice grips for?
The plug.
There's Allen. I have that size Allen.
No, the square plug in the coolant.
Yeah, I have that size Allen.
It's not an Allen.
Is it socket?
No, it's a square head.
Oh, use a 9/16 slope.
It's smaller than a half.
I've got that tool.
Okay. I'll look for it.
12 point.
12 point.
Half inch or 9/16 slope.
Okay.
grips.
Oh. Pipe plugs aren't people.
I know, but
Please don't get fooling everywhere. Please, 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 please. Yay. Okay. Now I need a coolant sender.
Come take a closer look here. Here's what we got so far.
Here you go. We can talk about this for a second. So if you've got headers that already have an O2 sensor on them, you don't need to do anything. You just pull the plug out or pull the O2 sensor out and then put Holley sensor in to give an O2 reading to the system. But if you don't, rather than drill or have to weld, you could do something like this. They include in the kit, which is just an easy little clamp-on piece. Drill a hole for the O2 sensor in the pipe, clamp this over it, and boom, you got an O2 sensor feed. Coolant temp sensor. I don't see it in the box.
it's wrapped in its own little.
Special.
Yeah.
Yay. Cool. And this looks like a 3/4. It's already got sealant on it. 3/4. How are you doing under there?
Vice grips. It's
Zip ties?
zip ties. Zip ties.
Zip
to
ties?
Get it off the muffler. Yep, dirt in my eye. She's one of my safety glasses. How we doing on time? And
We're at 33 minutes.
33 minutes already?
have we improved, or more people coming? Or is
Staying
it
about
just hanging
steady.
out at a 7? Huh?
We're staying steady.
1,000 people?
It's
700
not.
people?
It's like this out one way. So Tommy asked earlier what every single wire in the kit did and how he could make it talk to different MSD components and other systems that he had on his car. Here in the instructions, we see every single wire color, positive, negative, function. So this is your roadmap to integrating this into your specific vehicle and maybe even making it do a couple things that Holley didn't even know about. Cool.
Cool. There you go.
Let's see, there's our tuner. I don't remember opening that. It's a heat pack load. So I've got all the setters up top. I think we're almost ready to start wiring. That's it. Huh. So there's 3 pigtails up top that are the wiring harness for the entire system, and one of them just goes right there on top of the coolant, and that takes that out of the equation. Is this a coolant one? Wait, that's not the coolant one. No, that goes somewhere else. Does it? No, that's the coolant sensor. Okay. 4 of these. That's the coolant sensor. Boom. Coolant sensor's in. Your gauge is still hooked up. So we just have these last 3 pigtails. I'm assuming this is O2 sensor because that looks like a Bosch plug. So that's an easy one that we know where it goes. And the other half of this one
then.
Okay.
What's up over here?
What do you want? Hand?
No, my last zip tie.
You need one, I can get you one.
Yeah. Ran out. Grab me some more ones.
You're dead set on eating orange, aren't you? Your last one's right there, too.
Dang it.
There you go. 6AL. Thought of everything. I gotta do some wiring now. Set up wizard. Okay. Relay. Blue power's gonna be fuel pump. The real police or like
No.
Phil Collins police? Sting police.
Alright. Good to go.
Okay.
Alright.
Every hot rodder ever knows exactly what this color means. MS's blood.
Yes.
So, what do we need, what don't we need, and what are we doing with what don't we need?
Alright, so this is the main harness. Alright, so
Fuel pump, I know that much.
let's
Cut and spool it.
let's loose the fuel pump on the world. Cutters. Might have left them underneath.
This is going through the firewall?
Yeah, let's just feed it through there and then I'll go wire that up.
Okay. Trade you.
So this plugs in where?
All of our main connectors are right here.
Okay, well let's make it all on this side and then we can run it up into the wiring harness that's already here. There's also a grommet you should use for firewall, but I have a nice rusty hole that we can use right now.
We'll come back and make it nicer later, after tacos.
In 3 years. Right?
Yep.
Here, cutting the wire.
I'm like untangling this as you go. Okay. Going.
What size motor do we have in the Bronco?
This is a 460-inch Windsor. So it's a 9.5 deck Ford Racing Windsor with, I'm going to say 4150, 41250, or 4250.
All the way at the end.
Pull it out.
Pull it out. One last minute pretzel.
So at least it's enough. You go all the way back to the
Yeah, on a long car too. Why are you covering this paint up? There you go. That should be everything. Where do you want this relay to live?
I think think I want it all against the firewall as much as possible.
Okay, so then you've got another foot you can pull through on the fuel pump line. Is there a stud or anything we can borrow to hold this?
Stud.
Yeah, just to make it pretty. Okay. Is anything catastrophic going to happen if I remove that?
Oh, you know what? I think there's a
The fender's not going to fall off?
there's a relay on the other side of it. Just take that off and flip it around.
Okay. Sweet. 7/16.
Probably hit the green.
Yeah, 7/16. We'll use this one. With the baby wrench. Here, I'll go underneath. I'll get it from this side if you want to do it at the firewall. Of course, it's a half on this side.
Yeah, it's here. Trade you. Mine's 7/16.
Here you go.
Is that what you have?
Yeah.
Exactly wrong.
Am I helping? Probably not helping. If this is a ground, Doug, this is a sad ground.
Don't knock my grounds. Grounds are very important.
Yeah, fuel injection will get good happy grounds though, right?
Well, this is the right ground for the battery.
Okay.
You don't need to ground the one that was already
No,
completed.
no one sees that this is a ground in here.
Just take the old fuse relay off.
You don't want it there at all? I can hang it on the backside.
You don't need this, the old fuse one.
Okay. Away it goes. You're actually not ratcheting anything right now.
Yeah, I am going through the firewall. I think.
Now you are.
You helping?
Yeah. I'm holding it. Is that helping? Kind of helping. Oh, you know what? I'm not helping.
Nope.
Because this is now a half inch. I still have the 7/16 socket. Oh, wait, no, it is a half inch. I just have to bend your firewall to get to it.
All right. So
What
this
is that?
goes to
Gross.
battery.
Okay, now I can help. Should be good.
Alright, this goes to oil.
Okay.
This goes to key on.
Are we using choke for key on?
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going
Test it.
to power this up, and that's going to give me two things. It's going to power up the fuel relay so I can see if we have a fuel leak, and then we can check the orange wire to key on while it's cranking.
Okay. So you need me to plug yellow into the coil, right?
Yeah,
Which I'm assuming is coil positive? Negative. Okay.
let's double check that.
Okay.
Otherwise, the matches won't.
I took a whole bunch of paper on the back of the truck.
Okay, 4 wires. Battery positive, battery negative, coil minus,
Coil minus.
switch 12 volts.
Okay. Do you want to leave this full length in case you relocate it, or do you want to chop it down? So here's your,
This is probably going to go, I mean, I really don't have any choice. This is where it's going to be.
okay. I can curl it up and zip tie it, or I can just.
Yeah, why don't you leave some room?
Okay.
In case we come back later. Like somebody here was doing this before me.
How is the engine getting hotter? I don't think so either. There we go.
So we can coil that up.
Coil wire. This is hot.
Yep.
Mission hot. Which means I will wait to do anything with this until we know if the.
So we're going to
This is good.
put these up last. We got our one here.
Do you want me to actually rigidly hook these, or you want to wait and see if this is hot? Did you bring a tester? And then this is O2. You didn't snake the O2 sensor wire up here yet, did you?
No, it needs to be snaked down.
That's easy. I'm going to snake it on the other side of the brake booster so there's no chance it drops on a header at any point.
Coming up on 48 minutes.
Oh
Okay.
no.
Hey man.
Let's see.
Test lights running somewhere. I hope.
It's not. We can just hook it up, see if it powers up. Any black zip ties? Okay, I'll hop up there and do the coil now.
Yeah. Do you have a fitting or a connector?
I do not yet. Coil negative on MSD's orange, right?
Yellow?
No, on the MSD color.
I have a big X
Yep.
on the one that you don't want.
Negative.
So it looks like Holley included a nice wiring kit here with our favorite friend, the black zip tie. See if that fits.
That's right. We just need strippers.
Should be just a test light. Cool. If you're looking for that. That's you're looking for that.
We need that. Okay, yeah, coil negative.
Okay.
Positive is loose, so I will tighten. Okay. Is this the hookup for the tuner?
Yes.
So we'll make that easy to get to.
There's your connector. There's your
Shrink wrap?
shrink wrap, which I'm going to cut in half.
Shrink it for what?
And connect
Oh, okay.
pink to orange
Okay.
right here. I think Holley also supplied a nice little. Be sure to get the shrink wrap on there first.
Yeah. I gotta cut it.
Cutters to your right.
Nothing I can rest my arm on that isn't hot.
Fine. Here's the shrink wrap. We had an hour yet?
We are at 53 minutes.
Okay. Oh, it'll be close. I need you to cut that shrink wrap in half because I need to borrow.
Tim says no one's cussing yet, so it must be a good kit.
These are blue ones to cut it. To your right.
I'm not cussing because I'm not allowed to cuss.
You done with the strippers?
You can borrow them. I need them to crimp the coupler piece. Hang on 1 second.
Is that now?
No, you got them.
Billy, we're getting close. We're gonna fire it up, I promise.
If you're at work, thank you. Just open up some spreadsheets and just click over real quick if somebody comes in.
You know what? Tell you what. You want to crimp it? Hold it together. That would be far easier. No. Those. Cool. Okay, what do we have for
Okay.
shrink? You're good. You're very good. For shrink wrap heatage. Cool. Just gotta work this over your crimp, which is actually proving quite difficult. Crimp's so wide it won't slide over. Do you have electrical tape? I might have to use electrical tape. It's not gonna work. So we'll shrink that wraps that side. But I still gotta electrical tape it because your chubby crimp won't slide over the shrink wrap.
In the pile
Yep.
somewhere.
Got it. Got it.
theory, you have spark and ignition on. You gave me black zip tie.
Any questions? How many people we got going?
We've got about 650 people checking in right now. The occasional comment rolling in. Holley's doing a good job of answering some of the technical stuff.
Oh, that's good.
Guys, shout out the questions. We got the answers. Okay. 58 minutes.
Lighter?
Lighter. You want me to cut these zip ties real quick? Then I'll give it back, I promise. Alright, what's missing?
Fuel pump, and that's it.
Okay. Yeah, everything's hooked up. Let's see, I'm gonna change these out for black. O2 sensor hooked up yet? No, right?
No, it needs to be run down there.
Okay, I can do that.
Take this Bronco out and jump it later?
No. Where is that too?
What kind of transmission do you have in this?
Performance automatic.
C4. Are you done hogging those cutters?
There you go, Carlos.
They're on the back of the truck. Which side did you put the O2 sensor in? I don't see them under here. Oh, okay, way back there. Got it.
Passenger.
Slack here.
Some people are just tuning in wondering about the fuel pump. You want to talk
Fuel
about
pump's a
that?
Walbro 255. It's frame mounted. Holley recommends an in-tank because they run cooler and they're quieter, they last longer, but you know, for parking lot purposes, a frame one works pretty good. Just you got to keep the lines away from the headers. Otherwise, you're good.
This has got to go down here.
Billy, we're getting close, I promise.
Please don't step on me. Everything I touch is hot. Okay. That's there. Cool. Somebody hook me up with some zip ties and I'll make sure this doesn't burn.
Don't step on you, I already stepped on you.
I probably had that one coming.
Would you like black zip ties?
I think you got an orange theme going down here.
I thought I used the last of them. Oh no, I got 50 of them.
Your Halloween themed zip tie collection.
Zip ties.
Are you implying I'm a cutter? It's not nice.
Not that kind of cutter.
Okay. comes close to the header, but it's not touching the header, and I'm using a couple lines to hold it away.
Everything on this truck is close to the header.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. And I can use this to tuck this up here. It's safe. It must look really flattering from upside down.
It's a good look.
I'm bringing it back. Okay, O2 sensor. O2 sensors in.
Is it plugged in? Connected?
Plugged in, connected.
Out of the way?
Hung out of the way of heat. Basically wraps near the trans line because you don't have a ton of slack because your O2 sensor is mounted a little bit far back, but it's out of the way of heat, should be fine.
Everything cooked up then? Want to play with the throttle?
Trying to think of what isn't. So you've got two wiring connectors here. What do these say on the instructions? Are these for things that we're not using?
This one's the...
Timing?
No, it's the...
Oh, display connectors.
Yeah.
Okay, don't need that.
For the handheld.
Okay. What's the big pin connector?
Bring the cars back up.
Yeah, I did. Oh, I really thought they were there. They're right here. Knew we brought them up.
I never would have found them.
Fair enough. They're next to the things that just cut.
Alright,
Don't put it back where it was. Put it back where I left it.
I'm going to run this through one of my gigantic holes heater.
Okay. What's the real big pin connector?
Coming through. Got it?
Yep.
No knocks. The real big one is for extras.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to run an AC pickup, if you want to run electric fans, which I don't have, if you want to run...
Yeah, this is no frills vehicle for sure. Okay, I'll zip tie that.
Doesn't even have a roof. Okay, so the 10-pin connector runs AC relay, programmable ground input, which could be anything, fan relay 1, fan relay 2, CD ignition, so your MSD, TAC output, AC shutdown relay, or you can drive gauges. So the tan wire from that is a digital gauge output.
Oh, cool.
So for us, we don't have to put in the 10 pin connector because we don't have any of that stuff.
Let's get it out of the way then. And in a place where it won't get burnt up, I just put a zip tie there, of course. So that means I have to put one more. Doug, I think we're close.
Okay. So let's walk through it. Pink is switched ignition.
Done.
Yellow is coil negative.
Correct. Done.
Black and red are done, we're not hooked up yet. Blue is fuel pump. Done. Okay, at this point we're ready to install the battery and ground. So here's the battery.
Now nothing will get burned, nothing's touching a header.
We'll check fuel pump and make sure it doesn't dump fuel all over the ground.
Okay, I said nothing's touching a header. I didn't lie. Nothing's touching a header.
Okay, we've got power and ground. Turn on the key to the run position. Should power the ECU as the height of the control motor. Okay, so turn the key. I'm going to check for fuel leaks. No, is the handheld working? Yep. Should the fuel pump be making noise? Do we have to tune it or it'll start running? double checking the wiring.
Only one option, so I'm assuming it's this one. Next. 8 cylinders. Displacement, you said it was 454?
460.
460. My fat fingers can't get it close. Oh, that's for people with chubby fingers like me. $460 inches. Okay. Next. Target idle speed. With this cam, what, 900? What do you want to target for idle speed?
Put it at 950. Give it a chance. Give it a prayer.
Would you say this cam was at 50?
It's 254 50.
Okay.
So it makes 9 inches.
250 degrees at 50 thou. It's a pretty solid cam.
It's really big. It's 308
950.
advertised. That's what it is.
Next. Cam type. Race.
Well, that's where it asks. Street strip is 8 to 13 inches of vacuum grip.
Okay. So you're still technically street strip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right at the edge. It's well into the 9s. It's around 9.5.
No power adder. So we're not using any ignition, so should we select using? Let's see. Oil minus, no time control. Okay, oil minus. Next.
Fuel pump.
Boom.
Probably check for leaks.
I'm on the key.
Fuel pump's on.
No leaks?
We're good.
Okay, cool. So noted, the moment that you finish the tuning cycle, if you've left it in on position, the fuel pump will prime. So maybe a good idea to cycle that with a battery and actually check for leaks before. Lesson learned. Luckily Doug tightened everything this time. All right. Hold up.
No, I'm just gonna look for leaks and stuff. So
That was easy.
isn't it though? Shockingly easy. It's too bad. Tough fighting it.
Bob, we're almost there.
Okay, so you can hear the return doing its thing.
Yep. Fuel pump's returning.
Yeah. Let me. Oh, you're already on it. Okay.
You didn't see any leaks anywhere?
I
Smell
don't see
any
any
leaks?
leaks on this side.
We just set the throttle. Okay, so what's next? The directions.
Before we drive it, we set the throttle. Technically, we can fire it now.
You try it?
Verify that all sensors are being properly. The opposite cycle pattern. Fuel pump on and run for 5 seconds. You already checked the leaks. Good. Okay, so home screen plus the monitor icon.
There we go. Fuel pump cycled off, so that's good.
Icon, then monitor screen.
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alrighty, here we go, guys. Watch this.
Okay. Orange wire.
It's not ignition on. Okay. So what we're realizing is that the choke wire doesn't have power when you turn the key. So as soon as you start cranking the engine, the sniper gets turned off. So we need to reroute that to something that is hot when the key's on. So that's because the sniper won't run unless it's on. That's pretty fair. I'll just be quick to ask Kaylin. Be right back. Here's my. We're gonna go steal a test light. Be right back.
Doug, you want to tell us a little bit about the Bronco, how you got it, what the story is?
Yeah. So we put this engine together 2 or 3 years ago. Basically, it was a Ford Racing short block, meaning it had no heads, no intake. It's 460 inches. It's a 9.5 deck Windsor. So we got some racing head service heads, put them on there, and then a single plane intake to try to make the advertised 600 horsepower that Ford Racing says it makes, and it made 604. So then we had it sitting around for a while. We started looking for a car to put it in. We looked at Mustangs, we looked at Cobras, and eventually we found this old Bronco. Somebody had already swapped a Windsor into it, but it was pretty beat up. So we decided this would be a good guinea pig for the Ford Racing motor. So we put it in here, changed the intake so it would clear the hood to a Performer RPM. So we're probably losing a little power there, but we're probably picking up some torque. And then we put a front engine accessory drive on it from Miller Speed. It's one of his cog drives, so it's got a 1-inch cog on it, so you don't have to worry about the belt slipping on the alternator, which is a big deal lately because the new high amp draw alternators will squeal
We don't have a test light, but
at
we
low
have
RPM.
a
Okay.
voltmeter.
So right now we're going to check and see if we have voltage while cranking. Yep. It wanted to start.
Go good?
Yeah, I want to see if it actually works. Okay. Good. Alright, so this is the correct wire we need. So where was I? So yeah, Miller Speed front drive. That's about it. Swapped it in. It's got a C4 in it.
What do we need?
I just need to make that connection. Any other questions about it? It's got a 9-inch rear end in it. That's stock. Somebody already swapped out a lot of the parts on it to better parts. Like it's got a Dana swap in the front.
44.
Yeah, which is a big deal, I guess, for these guys.
So you want this?
Yeah, don't need orange, and I'm going to go pink to yellow.
Is this orange live anymore? Should I cap
Yeah,
it?
it's going to be live.
Okay, I'll cap it so it doesn't spark everywhere. Hey, we haven't been yelled at yet. We're working on a car parking lot. I just
Because
jinxed
it's
us.
a Friday.
I just jinxed us, didn't I?
I don't think people are going to be here.
What was that?
I had no idea. Frog. Starting to hear weird noises.
Okay, that wire's capped temporarily.
What front axle do you have in this?
It's a Dana 44 swap.
You shrink wrap me?
There you go, Frank.
I don't have any shrink wrap left. That's the
Okay.
size. So you
I'll
find
tape it.
tape. Key on?
Yeah. Yeah.
Turn the key off.
Yeah.
This is the point where you start to make mistakes.
Don't.
Gripping skills.
Stop it.
Okay, you should really use shrink wrap on this.
Time is of the essence.
Yeah. The wiring directions, which is pretty funny, is just a bunch of don'ts. Do's and don'ts. And if Tom Keiss is watching now, he's probably looking at me going, don't.
They knew what they were getting into when they gave us one.
So for the record, that was the only shortcut we've done. All right, so I'm going to see.
I'm gonna get this out of the way.
Yeah, so it should start.
Should start. I got it.
Again, watch out, it's open.
All right, moment of truth 2.0.
It's trying.
Yeah, it's got a lot to
You gotta
learn.
grab the throttle.
Okay. It's a big cam. It's got a pretty steep learning curve.
There.
Yep. No. Keep guys can do anything. Go for it. It's not like even with throttle, it's fine.
Okay, don't get any fall.
Okay.
Where are we in the directions? I might not be doing it right.
I will read to you. You know what? Since we lost an hour, we're going to come back.
I think it's good up here.
Okay. Try it again.
Just looking for vacuum leaks, obvious stuff. Sometimes you know if you knock your PCB vacuum off or something, that's going to cause a leak.
Ready?
You guys need some help in here or what?
Hey, fire prevention.
buddy?
You guys need fire prevention?
I found a problem earlier.
Do you hear that monstrous air leak?
Yeah.
You see it?
No, it's hard to see air, man.
But what you're gonna have to do is just throw me the keys. I'll bring it back in like a half hour.
Yeah, you got to turn the
So we
mechanical
need
down.
more mechanical.
You need a little more mechanical.
So let's see. Once the engine is up to operating temperature, the idle speed can be set to what was configured in the Wizard. To do this, open up the initial startup gauge using section 7.0 with the vehicle in neutral. Adjust the idle screw until it's...
I already pulled out of it.
So, let's see.
So is it still on?
Still what?
I'm going to adjust that until what? So you're looking at the IEC reading?
So
All
the
I
IAC
asked what
position
percent
reads
it's at.
between 2 to 10%.
Okay.
So we need to see what the IAC's reading right now.
You do that while it's running?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start it.
That's good.
Go ahead. One ladder.
Hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah. How's it read? 50 seconds?
Well, still looks good,
running
buddy.
yet. Get it to run. See what
Send the motor.
Try now. a dirty signal around it's having trouble reading RPM.
Yeah, it's jumping between like 500 and 4,000.
And then it says error. You might have a little interference on that wire. Maybe a background or something.
Does that coil have an output?
Only 4 wires and a lot.
John, we'll come back to that question.
I doubt there's interference here.
I can take it off now just to see. Going out.
You got a good ground step on this thing?
Yeah, I got block to battery, battery to frame.
Cool. Well, that's away now. I don't think that's
Is there any kind of initial setup? Do you run through?
Yep.
Yeah, you just run through and set
It's
the idle.
very, very
You
straightforward.
set like peak or
Here's a here's a question for you, Doug.
Yeah.
You've got an original coil wire, right? It's here. Should that be removed to feed so that only the Holley's feeding the coil?
No, that's just a signal. That's just a signal
so then
to
this is
start
still
it.
correct. Having both on there is correct.
Yeah, this just initiates the ECU and that tells you that the engine's running. That's it.
So then that's still right.
That's right. So that can't be dirty.
Everything's good.
You
Everything's
need it.
tight on there. No tack out on the coil itself is there. So what could cause it to have it? Yeah, ground is straight to the battery.
Ground to there, and then a red and an orange.
Uh-huh.
There's red and orange. Should be either side of the coil, but I didn't see one over there.
That's negative, that's positive, that's key on.
I couldn't see it.
Yeah, it wouldn't run if that stuff was wrong.
yeah.
You don't have a tack on this thing, do you?
No, I got timing light.
Well, we haven't moved your timing though, and it drove over here, so the timing's got to be spot on.
Timing's fine.
We just need to figure out why we have a dirty RPM sound.
A massive leak would have it trying to shut down the IAC. It would be fluid radically, but just wondering if it didn't get a good seal on it.
Definitely.
What we could do too is assume maybe the PCB's bad. Plug the PCB.
Pinch those off, it didn't change it at all.
Oh, okay.
Hey, start it up right now. I turned the throttle up a little bit.
Adjustments are probably yes.
Just gonna keep giving it throttle.
Yeah, the IAC at some point should adjust.
Starting
Go ahead.
it's dying. It runs at high idle IAC. off. Was the tech still sleeping, or were you looking at the tech?
Hanging around 1100 the whole time I was trying to clean, then when he revved it, went 6 grand error.
Can you hear that? So it was at 1,000, and then when you revved it, back up to 6,000, you said error.
Did you set the TPS? You know what I mean? Like, use that opinion. Yeah, key on, step on the gas.
No, we didn't. And it doesn't require it in the initial.
Well, they're always the first time you get powered up. It's gonna, yeah. You might not know that it needs to be on idle.
And then it goes from the block to the battery, and the battery.
We just literally straight instructions from start to finish.
So you do like turn the key on, step on the gas pedal. Yeah, normally you want to. It has to read a range across the.
Well, I mean, it's because it's Carb, the TPS is built into the lineage.
Yep.
You can't really fluctuate, right?
Of course it can. Every time you adjust it, it needs to know that that's now the idle, and that's when it turns on the IEC.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because if not, you could be 3 cranks in.
60% right now.
You know what I mean? And it won't know to try to use the IEC to set that towards 1100.
Here, Lucky. This is what we walked through it.
Put off the script, we'll write it out.
It's a big 1-page pack. Was the walkthrough.
Yeah. I mean, it could very well just read that real quick. Look, when you give it initial power, like a key on, or every time you turn the key on, it could reset that to TPS 0.
Probably.
Likely, if this is supposed to be super user friendly.
Where'd you grab the tech?
That's not a box. It just says
It's just coming
a
from
regular
yellow wire
distributor with a standard
Yep.
MSD port. The dumb.
I know coil negative is supposed to be a really noisy tack signal, isn't it?
Yeah, but you don't have an option here.
Yeah.
Get out.
There's 2 wires coming off the distributor.
Yeah,
It's
so-
power anchor. Yeah,
First time you
there's
started
orange,
this thing up, you
orange,
had
black,
the
and red.
ignition, right? It was losing voltage when you cranked it and stuff
We
like
just
that.
wouldn't start yet. Didn't have any signal.
So have you unhooked the battery and started it over?
Uh-uh.
Unhook everything. Just unhook the battery.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, it's not the distributor because it's, like I said, it's been running for a month.
Yeah, to reset it to TPS 0. Let me see what
Was key on all this time?
He's off now.
Why did it?
I don't know.
Why did it?
Shouldn't have done that.
Maybe it wasn't.
Now TPS is 0. So you did effectively reset it.
Okay, so now TPS is 0.
Yep.
Step on the gas just a little bit, see if TPS reads.
Yeah.
Okay, start it up.
It only goes to 90, but it'll probably reset up to 100 later. Ready?
Yeah.
Take that off.
Shut it off and then loosen this again.
You got to pull it off the battery. It's not turning off. They got to wire it in constant.
Oh, you got it wired.
Oh,
you got it hot wired.
That means it doesn't take any of the changes. Because you have to key.
Cycle the key.
Yeah. So it didn't accept the initial program because it didn't key on key off.
So key off
He's
right
off.
now.
Yep.
And then we just turn the idle up so the TPS is going to read 0 at a higher idle.
Yeah, physically it's higher, but it's going to read back to 0 when you put it back on.
Go ahead and start it.
You idle control from inside? Hold on.
See one.
He said he's got.
I see here.
He's got two, but he's got.
Okay,
got
here to there,
and this
and
to
then there to there. So
theoretically, it's alright, but this doesn't look
that's
great.
already sketchy as it is.
So snipe, there might not be a connection. I would probably do that because you're tapping the ground for the controller into the car somewhere, right?
No, it's off the battery. That's the ground.
Right there.
Yep.
No worries.
As far as I know, nothing from that controller is grounded on the body. Now the distributor might be.
Yeah. Well, the distributor.
Yeah, but this is grounded to this, so that's okay.
Okay. So everything on the engine is grounded well. Everything on the
Right to
system
the battery.
You have a sketchy taxon. You need to find ignition 12 volts that cycles
Yeah.
on and off. Because even though we hook the ground up, it still wants to see the key go on and off.
One of these should.
Where did you grab voltage for that in there?
I don't know where Doug grabbed it from.
Well, you guys hot wired it. something.
Originally, we used the
Alright,
choke.
I'll talk to you guys in
12 volt
a bit.
source,
Thanks.
and that actually lost power on cranking. So.
Yeah, choke.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, choke wire's off.
Where did you guys grab ignition for the? That it right
GPS
there?
is set
Yeah, this-
closer.
Beyond's gonna have 12 volts cranking. It's gonna 12 volts for everything.
Hey, are you sure the direction of flow of the fuel? I've seen sketchy stuff happen just by putting the return and the pressure in there, even though it's still.
This is definitely the return side.
Okay. So the
This-
return
yeah,
side
that's
is
the regulator.
Yeah, I'm talking about is that the return line though?
Good question.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we did them separately.
Okay.
We did that one first, and then we came in and it didn't have a feed.
I think it's alright.
So I hooked up.
It's still.
Still gotta learn.
But still, I don't.
Pretty clean. It's getting there, but like.
But the other thing, you're not
We're getting
able.
that error
You're
signal
not
instead.
switching the ignition source, the trigger for the computer. So
Yeah, you have to continue like turn it.
That
It
means-
learns. It resets the base ABS when you turn it off to 0. Because mechanically, whatever you're going to do to it, since there's no actual like setup to do it, it automatically when you turn it off, it goes that sets that base to 0. So it's going to know there's any IC on between like 0 and 4 or whatever. 5%.
You might just put this on a switch on the dashboard.
At least for now.
Hidden kill switch.
This doesn't cycle off. Correct.
I don't know. That's what we have a voltmeter for.
Okay.
Guys.
Is that what voltmeter's for?
Why would it not cycle off?
I
When
don't
you
know.
turn the key
Other
off.
than the fact that if you unhook the battery and put it back on, the fuel pump runs. So it's something's got voltage when the key's off.
Let's stab it.
There's no other ECM on it. It's all built in there.
For this controller.
Is key off? You know. All right, so you have voltage now. If you turn the key off, it should go to 0 volts. Is that what you're saying? So the key's off?
He's off.
Do a little recap.
Yeah, so our problem is this pink wire. The pink wire is supposed to have key on 12 volts, cranking 12 volts. And the wire we used before had key on 12 volts and no cranking 12 volts, which the sniper didn't like, and that's our bad. The second move was to take this wire, which seems to be 12 volts all the time. So this is some kind of relay for a fuel pump. So we're going to go into the wiring harness, and we're going to pull out a key on. So we have the correct key switch. And that's our bad for not bringing the voltmeter.
Thanks for not saying things. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to run down the farm boards and get you guys a few more people to come over and help with this project. Be back in an hour.
Shouldn't eat there. Alright,
I'll work
give me a
more.
voltmeter. Here, or just, I'll sit pass it through. There it is.
Okay,
Got it?
got it. It's gonna hurt.
You got voltage?
No.
What now?
Yes.
Clear?
I got the voltage while it runs.
Can you pull the battery off?
Yes. Alright, so those need to be connected. So, just so you know, that pink wire needs to go to a correct key on wire. Again,
So I
our
can do
bad.
that.
Can you pull that battery?
Yes, I will.
Cool.
There you go. Battery's off.
Turn it back on.
Battery's on. We need cutters. We're putting it on first.
Oh, cool.
So it's not going to run when I cut this. No.
Yep.
That was more for his
There you
benefit.
go, now it's on. Oh, yeah, you just kind of put that on that proper switch. Because when you turn that key on, you can hear the fuel pump prime.
Pull it, you pull the yellow, orange as much as you want.
Okay. I'm ready for a crimp. We could actually shrink wrap this one.
Can you stuff the yellow wire through?
Yeah. Here.
Can I steal my screwdriver?
Me? This little one?
Oh, look.
Oh.
Do you have any shrink wrap that'll work on this?
Nope, we're in out.
Alright.
Come on, twist it up.
I don't know what you do with the electrical tape.
It's over there. That's all you're getting.
So did you put fuel lines and everything on it for just now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's fun.
All right, so the way to avoid this is bring your test light with you.
Or
And
maybe just don't do it in a parking lot.
or, yeah.
Board's fun in that. Time. So we should
Either
have a
one's
true key on, key off.
Yep, key on, key off, and so
There you go. Set up wizard again now that it's right, or you could.
probably we unplugged the battery a couple times.
Ready?
Fire in the hole. Run!
wire because it's not on when you're cranking. And be sure not to use 12 volts from the battery because then it doesn't turn off when you turn the key on. We turned it down a bunch.
Yeah, but the IAC is supposed to compensate. Once more now.
You giving it throttle?
Yeah, once more throttle. I shouldn't have to give it throttle to start though, should I?
No.
We'll try it, see what happens. that we've got the intake air valve kind of close to where we need to be, what's really neat is if I want to change the idle, instead of messing with a jet, I can go in here and say, well, I want it to be way richer. And I can come down and go, I don't know, let's say 12 to 1. And then I can save, immediately goes 12 to 1. And it hates it. It starts idling bad. It doesn't want to be that rich. But with a couple more buttons, I will go right back up to 13.8, save, and it starts running good again. It's cool. It's very cool. Okay. Boom. It goes to monitor, sensor. There's our air fuel gauge, coolant temperature sensor, battery voltage, ignition timing. No, that's not hooked up. I've only got so much slack here. So we can see the entire parameters of the engine while it's running, make live changes. Okay. I can't stop messing with it though. This is controlling timing. Watch it control timing. Oh, it was just a fluke then. Because it made noise when I touched it. Okay, never mind. Like addicting. Come look at it. Right now, it takes the engine at 2,000 RPM and then 1,000. And then 800 and something like that. And I have to bounce it around and kind of bring it up and then down. Turn it off. rather than let it overheat in the parking lot. We'll let it rest for a second.
Is it getting hot?
No, it showed 186 on the.
Letting it sit and idle forever doesn't help. It changes the tune, the hotter the engine gets.
Yeah, I can see that.
So we need to get some air over it, see if it'll idle in here, and see if it'll go
Sure.
over the block.
I just don't know what's causing that issue. To give such a dirty RPM signal. Are these not? No, these are spiral wrapped wires. They should be fine. That thing is razor sharp, by the way.
Which?
The stud. Sorry, I found out the hard way.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, let's see if it'll drive. Everything on the motor is grounded straight to the battery, right?
Yeah.
There's really nothing that has to do with the fuel injection, the ignition, that's grounded off the frame. So everything's got a really strong ground on
Is
it.
your Costanza wallet?
What's Costanza?
Seinfeld. Never saw the episode where he had the giant wallet with
No.
candy in it and stuff?
Commentary here. So, we gonna drive it?
Yeah, we can drive it.
Alright, let's try and drive it.
See what happens.
Radiator have water in it? Yeah, let's drive it. See what it does. You just let this kind of.
If it's valuable, don't leave it in there. Don't walk away. We're just gonna drive around the block and we'll come back.
Kel, you just want to stay here for a minute?
Yeah, let's just drive around the block.
I'm just letting your stick just floats around in there. There's a home for it.
Any questions for Holley?
Yeah. Guys! That's nice.
Yeah.
Alright.
It's all mellow and calm and just like this.
Let's see. It's targeting 14.7 at cruise.
Okay.
My X position's a little high.
Yep, pedestrian.
Sorry. Don't drink during the daytime.
Just take care of those.
Happy. TBS 9%.
9.
That's
Okay.
a grandma number.
There's pedestrians everywhere.
They knew what they were getting into. How long did this end up taking? Official counter?
Official counter, we're just at 2 hours.
No, that's not bad.
That's not bad. I'll take it.
And that was with our drive-in and setting everything up.
8% throttle, Doug.
Sit right around
1%.
buckle up then. It actually idles smoother than it did before.
Yeah, it's learning.
Well, no, I mean with the carburetor.
You would still actually better than
Yeah.
Carb.
There we go. That's how it used to idle with the carburetor.
Okay, sensors.
Sorry about that, guys.
180 degrees, 14 volts.
Okay, that's good. Tacos?
I think we're ready for tacos.
Okay. Alright, so what was that, 50%?
Close.
Not even close, okay.
Oh, not even close.
Okay, so as you can see and hear, it's idling nice now. The mistake we made was the wire feeding the pink wire. It's supposed to be key on, and then when you turn it to start, you shed 12 volts. Most importantly, when you turn key off, it's supposed to go to 0. And it wasn't doing any of those things, and that played with the ECU a little bit. So we fixed that, drove around the block. It's idling actually smoother than it did with the carburetor on it. We did it in about 2 hours in the parking lot. So, yeah.
We shot for one. We did it on two. Turns out if you give the fuel injection everything it asked for in the first place, it works pretty good.
Yeah. Just make sure you have no backing leaks, good grounds, and good wiring. The turn system runs pretty good. So now we can go get talking.